Hey there guys, hope you all have an amazing day. I'm Nacib Games. On this channel I open up Yu-Gi-Oh!, Buddy Fight, Vanguard, Beyblade, Digimon, and the Dragon Ball Super card game. And so for today's video, I'm finally doing the video on all of the gears of Belial. So I'm going to be describing each of the gears. So first up, but before we get into each of the gears, kind of showing off each of the Belials. So first up is Dynamite Belial, the very first one that got released. Next was its evolution, Dangerous Belial, and then the final version of Belial is Divine Belial. I did switch out the chip with the 3-1 when I got this with the fusion sets, and so yeah. So that's all so these are the three main Belials, and each one is fully compatible with each of these armors. And so for the first armor we have the F gear. So this was the very first gear that got released, and whenever you attach it, onto Belial, it gets attached right here onto the layer. So it goes right on the layer. This adds rubber in between the blades, so that way it can absorb power just like Fafnir, because that's where the F gear was inspired from. The F gear is also be able to put on to Dangerous Belial, going right in between. Although when you face it like this, you can barely see it. Like when you tilt it a bit, you can then see it. And it also does work on Divine Belial, but I've only got two versions of the F gear, so I'm just kind of leaving it like this. So yeah, so the F gear is compatible with all three Belials, and it goes right in between the layers, so that way it's able to absorb power using the rubber, just as Fafnir does. Just the same way that Fafnir. For the second gear, we have the V gear. So this was the second gear that was released. The V gear takes inspiration from Valtryek. And this gear goes right on to the Venture Driver. So the V gear is attached onto the Venture Driver. This allows it to have a bit more life after death, because it'll help it stay up a bit longer. So that means it can which also help when it absorbs power using the F gear. So Valtryek was the inspiration for this part, and so it's also able to go on to the All Might Driver. So this allows it to. This pretty much does the same thing, but since the All Might Driver is a bit more rounded, it kind of helps even it out a bit. So that way there's this, and so yeah. Also, when attached onto here, it kind of makes it almost like a dash driver in the fact that it makes it a lot harder for it to start being able to burst. So yeah, so that is the second gear of Belial. For the next gear, we have the S gear. So this was the third gear that was released. This one takes inspiration from Spryzen. It has one feature where it'll completely lock on and is used for attack, or you could have it attached and it will be fully free spinning. This part goes right on to the Nexus disc. This is where the S gear gets attached. As you can see, it allows it to be fully free spinning. So this means that it has more. So that means Belial now has more capabilities. It can now absorb power with the F gear, can increase its speed, and able to stay up a bit longer with the V gear. And now, by using the free spinning feature of the S gear, it helps with defensive abilities. But that's not all. It also is able to be attached to the All Might Driver as well. As you can see here, once I take this off, it's locked in. So that means that it's not going to move, which means that it has more attack capabilities. So there's always two options. You have the free spinning feature, and then you have the feature that locks on. So this one kind of works pretty well with the All Might Driver, since it has the bound feature. With the All Might Driver, since it has the bound feature, it kind of allows it to get hit and then use its bound feature. But still, it's up to you whether you want to use the attack mode or use the defensive mode for the S gear. And so the fourth and final gear for the original release is the L gear. The L gear takes inspiration from Luinor. It has these 3 points that, when you attach, goes right on the layer here, which takes the place of the armor. So once you put on the L gear, you no longer need the armor because this is the new armor piece. So this adds more weight to it, which increases its attack power, which is why it was taken in, and that's why it was given the inspiration from Luinor. Because if you kind of look, there's kind of some dragons right there. So with the added weight, it allows for even more attack power. And as with all the other gears, it is fully capable of going onto the dangerous Beyblade, which means that its attack power is also increased. And once you have all these gears on, that is when you have the perfect dynamite belial and perfect dangerous belial. So yeah, so those are the 4 original gears. Now it's time to move on to the newer gears that got released. For the first new gear that we have the D gear. So this gear was created, and it takes inspiration from Dragon, and just as the S gear, it is the Nexus disc. So just like the S gear, it is attached to the Nexus disc, although instead of being fully free spinning, it has a bound feature. It can be locked on the other way for more attack power, but it's better to have it in the bound feature because it does provide more defensive abilities and capabilities. So that was the first brand new gear that got released. The next gear that we have for Divine Belial, the A gear. This is the second gear that was released for Divine Belial. This one takes inspiration from Achilles. And just as the F gear, this one is attached right to the layer. So just like the F gear, the A gear is attached onto the layer. And as you can see, it perfectly lines up with each of the blades, providing more attack power. But also, you can attach it, you can change it to where the blades are now on the outer sides, no longer conjoined with the blade, which means you're now in defense mode. So you can align the A gear to match up with the blades to have more attack power, or you can fill in the gaps, and have a more defensive power. Combine the defensive power with the D gear means you have more defensive capabilities with those two gears combined. And so for the next gear is the H gear. So this is the H gear. This takes their inspiration from Helios and Hyperion. This gear acts just the same as the L gear, and with that it gets attached right onto the layer as well. So just like the L gear, it goes right here on top and gets rid of the armor, becoming the new armor piece. As you can, it has 3 points, which increases the attack power. It's not going to be as heavy as the L gear because this is plastic. But one thing that this layer can do that the L gear can't is the fact that this gear has a high mode. So this gear allows you to still be able to go into high mode instead of permanently being stuck in high mode. It has a high and low mode. As you can see, when it's in high mode, the 3 blades are moved right under here under the A gear, which means it is much taller, and that's how you know it's in high mode, because that's why it has the secondary armor piece as well. So it still has more weight, but in terms, I still prefer the low mode much more, but that's the one difference between this gear and the L gear is that this gear allows it to still have access to high and low mode. And so for the next and final gear, the VS gear. So this is the final gear that was released for Divine Belial. This takes inspiration from both Valtryek and Spryzen because it came here in the Versus set. So this part takes inspiration from Valtryek, but the red here takes inspiration from Spryzen, the fact that it is fully free spinning. If I can get a good grip to be able to spin it. There we go. So with it which means that it can go onto which means when it hits the stadium, it'll be able to rotate, which means it won't take that much damage. This gear gets attached onto the driver. So just like the V gear, it gets attached onto the driver, providing him more capabilities, and with the free spinning, makes an even better upgrade than the V gear. And once you have all of these combined, you have the new perfect divine belial. A lot of these gears are only meant for divine belial, and by that, the only ones that can be used for it are the A and H gear. The D gear and the VS gear can be moved over to dynamite belial, but the VS gear will not work on the All Might driver. So you are able to put on the Venture driver, but not on the All Might driver. And so with that, and as I said, all the gears can work on divine belial. So you can have this perfect divine belial, or if you want, you are able to have this perfect divine belial. This one has the L, F, S, and V gear attached. So this belial is fully capable of using both the new gears and the old gears, which means you can create more which means you can create even more combos. So say you didn't want to use the D gear, you could switch it out with the S gear, and the same thing. So you could create your own combo. You could have H, you could have the H gear, the F gear, the S gear, and then the VS gear, or any kind of combos with this. But as I said, the only two gears that will work on the other belial is the VS gear and the D gear. These are the only two gears that will work on dynamite belial. But sadly, they will not go on. The D gear can go onto the All Might driver right here because of the same. But sadly, the VS gear will not work, along with the A and H gear. They will not go onto either Dangerous or Dynamite Belial. And that'll conclude this video. I have explained all of the different gears for Belial. So let me know down in the comments, which one do you like more? The older gears, the very first ones that got released, or the newer ones? I can't really say which ones I like more, because I definitely like some of the ones from the older ones, because it's kind of cool that we get Luinor, Fafnir, Spryz, and Valtriac. But I do also like that there are the main characters, Hyuga and Hikaru, Eiger, Dante, and then Shu and Volt. So I do like both. I like all the gears, but in terms, that is all the gears. They increase Belial's power, and makes each one of them cool. So yeah. So hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. Now I'm going to be switching over to some battle videos and all that, but also let me know down in the comments on any other kinds of videos you want me to do. I am going to be trying to make a video on, I will probably be making a video on all the different modes of Achilles, since there's like 46 or 48 modes, I believe. And another one is which driver is better, the bearing drift, or bearing Mobius driver for Barricade Lucifer. So let me know down in the comments what kind of videos you want to see. I will be doing some more battle videos, but do you want to see the Achilles mode video, or the Barricade Lucifer video? Which driver is better? So yeah. So hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to ring the bell so that we be notified of all my new videos. And I will catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.